Canelo or Crawford?
It's tricky. I want Crawford to win, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, I would like for that to happen, but this guy's a hard puncher. He's a smart fighter. He can move. I'm just curious. I just want to see it. I want to be there to see it.
He feels like this is a ridiculous fight. He states that Terrence Crawford moving up 2 weight classes.
Into the fight, I wasn't really I just didn't like the fact that Terrence Crawford had to go up 2 weight classes. I just didn't really like that. I mean,
Mike Tyson gave his no-nonsense take on Terrence Crawford's potential matchup with Canelo Alvarez. According to Tyson, Crawford doesn't need to chase this fight, since his legacy is already secure. He warned that stepping up against a naturally bigger opponent could backfire, risking Crawford's reputation more than enhancing it. Tyson stressed that weight divisions exist for a reason, and crossing those lines usually favors the larger fighter. While he praised Crawford's skills, Tyson suggested the wiser choice would be safeguarding the accomplishments he's already made.
I just don't think it's a good idea. You know, I don't think, what would he have? I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. People have done things crazy like that before. It's just that he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do it.
You posted the other day, there's a picture of you in a Rolls Royce, and you said, the quote is, "I can't remember how many of these I gave away."
Canelo or Crawford?
It's tricky. I want Crawford to win, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, I would like for that to happen, but this guy's a hard puncher. He's a smart fighter. He can move. I'm just curious. I just want to see it. I want to be there to see it. Because listen, there's been upsets like that before. You know, Henry Armstrong, 124 pounds, he beat the 146-pound champ. So, you know, you never know. Anything can happen when 2 men are in a ring or in a basketball court. Anything can happen.
Mike Tyson didn't hold back when asked about the idea of Terrence Crawford taking on Canelo Alvarez. He dismissed the matchup as unrealistic, pointing out that weight classes exist for the very purpose of keeping fighters safe and balanced. Tyson argued that the size gap between Crawford and Canelo is far too significant to ignore. In his view, the fight brings more danger than reward, overshadowing Crawford's greatness instead of adding to it. Although Tyson admires Crawford's skills and career, he believes this challenge is unnecessary and could damage rather than elevate his legacy.
Think about Terrence Crawford calling out Canelo.
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know, and he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terrence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that was just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky-jerky.
Dora, one of them.
Yeah.
See, there's it's a missing art.
9 wins by way of knockout. And Mike Tyson, he feels like this is a ridiculous fight. He states that Terrence Crawford moving up 2 weight classes is a ridiculous fight, and that he's just simply too small, and he's gonna lose, and lose bad. He feels like he didn't want to say it, but he hinted around he's gonna get knocked out, right? He thinks that, you know, Terrence Crawford has skills, he's talented, but he just feels like there's weight class for a reason. Like many people in the sport of boxing, they feel like it's weight classes for a reason. And so, you know, he's not the first person to feel this way. But my thoughts is this. Should Terrence Crawford be victorious, as I expect him to, the hype train for Terrence Crawford's legacy only gets bigger. Because there's so many people that are doubting Terrence Crawford's ability to beat Canelo Alvarez because of the size, right? They feel like this is David and Goliath. And that story, that mythical story, is so big and so legendary is because of the size difference. You had the small little guy, you know, slaying the giant, right? It's just not supposed to happen. And so this just bolsters the myth of Terrence Crawford.
Boxing analyst Daroud Bey recently weighed in on the potential showdown between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, offering a closer look at how both fighters approach their training camps. Bay pointed out that Canelo has built a reputation for surrounding himself with sparring partners who closely resemble his upcoming opponents. His team carefully designs these sessions to identify weaknesses and prepare him for every possible scenario in the ring. Crawford, on the other hand, is known for his adaptability and ability to make sharp adjustments mid-fight. However, Bay raised the question of whether his sparring partners can truly prepare him for the challenge of stepping up against a naturally bigger, more experienced fighter like Canelo. For Bay, this matchup highlights the importance of sparring in shaping fighters for historic bouts. But he ultimately feels Crawford has little to gain by moving up 2 weight classes. Crawford is already undefeated, a multi-division champion, and widely regarded as one of the best of his era. Bay warned that taking on a fight with such a steep size disadvantage risks undermining that legacy. He emphasized that fans already recognize Crawford's greatness, and chasing a matchup with Canelo could be an unnecessary gamble that works against him rather than adding to his accomplishments.
Well, Canelo got a world champion right now in his camp with him, with Boots. Well, Boots vacated.
Shakur, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much Shakur adds to this. He's a southpaw, and he's a smaller guy. I think that's just sharp brain. That's like if Boots was boxing Celine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm boxing him. My young boy nice, but he don't pertain to the fight necessarily. But everybody don't train like that anyway. Everybody don't look for to have all of these sparring partners be like identical or in the same realm of the person they fighting. Some people, they spar like for sharp minds, so they'll just try to have the best people they can have. So you never know what Bomac and them strategy is right there.
As far as stylistically, who do you feel like has the advantage heading into that? Well, I'm just looking at the sparring partners.
From the sparring partners?
Yeah.
I think Boots not the same as Terrence Crawford, right? But I think he has athleticism and he's a switcher and he'll kind of go off for the playbook to do his thing. I think mind state wise, I think Boots is a big help. The guys that Crawford got in there, because
Mr. Martinez cracking.
No, he punching. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like, bro, I don't know who got the best of that.
You ever seen Darrell Valsaint?
I have. You know, I'm a Haitian boy, so you know what I'm saying? But it's just hard. It's hard to, man, I just think the sparring for this fight is elite on both sides. I think that they both taking each other seriously. You could tell that by the sparring partners that they brought in. And I'm just kind of anxious to see the fight. Like going into the fight, I just didn't like the fact that Terrence Crawford had to go up 2 weight classes. I just didn't really like that. I mean, being honest, as a black boxing fan, when I take my coaching hat off, like, no, I don't want to see our best fighter have to go up 2 weight classes. I don't like that. But you think about it and you like, well, look, first of all, I don't want to deny that man. I wouldn't want to say nothing or even have it in my heart to deny that man that kind of financial like blessing that he gonna get from fighting Canelo. Not only that, he chasing greatness.
British boxing journalist Gareth A. Davies shared his view on the potential clash between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, framing it as more than just another high-profile bout. In his eyes, this could be the kind of defining moment that shapes how Crawford is remembered in boxing history. Davies explained that every legendary fighter eventually reaches a point where their talent, bravery, and ambition collide in a single test. For Crawford, stepping up against a bigger, globally recognized star like Canelo might represent exactly that challenge. He noted that while critics often question the scope of Crawford's accomplishments, taking on Alvarez could silence those doubts and add an unforgettable chapter to his career. For Davies, this fight isn't only about the numbers on the scale or the difference in size. It's about legacy. At the same time, he acknowledged the danger. A loss could dent Crawford's perfect record, but Davies argued that true greatness comes from daring to face the hardest battles. In his view, these are the kinds of risks that turn champions into icons whose legacies endure long after their final fight.
The levels that he's gone through, the weights that he's gone through, and the opponents that he has been in with, he's come up short against a couple. But he's come through some big challenges as well through his, 65, 66 professional bouts since he was 15 years of age. There's no doubt that this is the biggest test of Terrence Crawford's career, not only because of the weight step up, but also because of the level of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terrence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. I mean, he is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side. He's that good. The angles that he creates and the way that he not only dissects people, but the way that he puts his foot down when he gets somebody hurt is
he's spiteful.
He's truly, truly impressive.
But what he also does, and this is where I think people are making the mistake with the fight with Israel Madrimov last summer in Los Angeles, was that Terence doesn't mind doing enough to win. He doesn't, if he knows he's got to win on points, he's happy to tuck everything neatly in the office and win round by round. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. It reminds me of Pernell Whitaker. It reminds me of guys that win with ease without overstretching themselves, that don't have to get in a battle. But when he's got someone hurt, as you rightly say, he's spiteful. I'm not sure he'll get Canelo hurt in this fight. But if his timing and his movement are on, the slightly slowed Canelo, who likes to load up these days, could find himself frustrated by Terence Crawford.
Yeah, and there's also the aspect of when he is behind. I mean, we've all seen that famous clip where he's fighting Sean Porter. Somebody sells him ringside. They've got him down on the cards. He goes through the gears and stops Sean Porter in the very next round. There's also that element to him. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, but he's also fighting someone that's equally as brilliant. A very different type of style, Canelo.
And a fan favourite.
An analyst recently broke down Canelo Alvarez's take on the often misunderstood idea of running in boxing. Canelo pushed back against the negative label, stressing that movement in the ring is a crucial part of real boxing. For him, the sport isn't only about throwing punches, it's about blending sharp offense with smart, calculated footwork. He explained that elite fighters are always adjusting, using angles, and staying mobile to create opportunities rather than simply standing still or retreating aimlessly. The analyst noted Canelo's mention of past opponents like Erislandy Lara, whose tactical movement, precise timing, and ring awareness highlighted just how effective such strategies can be. Canelo made it clear that this type of approach should never be dismissed. It reflects the deeper complexity of boxing. As the analyst summed up, Alvarez's comments underline a bigger truth. Success in the ring comes from adaptability, intelligence, and timing, not just constant pressure or raw aggression.
But in case you didn't really understand what he was saying, Canelo is saying there's a difference between boxing, like being a boxer, and moving, and then you throw some punches. Like you getting some punches in there. Then you like take a lap. Then you get some more punches. Right? And I agree with that. I agree. Like, my thing is this. If you know my channel, I've been doing this from way back. We go back like cornrows. I have never really been big on this whole like running language. Like I don't, because you got to understand, old media, they were the ones that came out with this whole running charade, and I don't like it because it was initially used to like maim and marginalize oftentimes black fighters and Cuban fighters. When non-black, non-Cuban fighters would face certain black fighters or Cuban fighters primarily, they would get hit with this like, oh, he ran moniker. And the reason you know it was racially motivated is because if you actually know boxing and you watch the fight, that's not even what was happening in the fights where they would claim that oftentimes a black fighter or Cuban fighter ran. Like Erislandy Lara versus Canelo. I thought Lara won the fight with Canelo. And Lara was doing some very good work. Canelo started doing some good body shots in the back half.
Timothy Bradley Jr. responded to doubts about Terence Crawford's inactivity leading up to a potential big fight. Some critics argue that long breaks outside the ring could slow his timing and affect his rhythm. Bradley, however, sees it differently. He explained that stretches of inactivity are nothing new for top-level fighters, pointing to Floyd Mayweather as a prime example of someone who returned from layoffs and still performed at the highest level. Bradley emphasized that Crawford is extremely disciplined, staying in shape and maintaining sharpness even when he's not actively competing. In Bradley's view, concerns about ring rust are overblown. He believes Crawford's work ethic and commitment to preparation ensure he'll step into the ring fully ready and capable of delivering at his usual elite standard.